What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a sleeve review. Now, a lot of people actually were asking me to do this because it was just a interesting thing, because I did the deck box review and a lot of people really liked it, so they were asking me to do the kind of sleeve review, and I spoke to my TO at the Brotherhood, Mike at the Brotherhood, and he sponsored me with a couple of these, so that's a shout out to Mike. And also, if you are in the UK or in Europe and you want to travel over, we do have the Brotherhood event, which is in the 5th of May. It's a bank holiday weekend on Monday, so don't worry, it's on the Sunday, so you can get home and everything. You don't have to worry about work and that. But without further ado, I'll go straight into it. I'll leave all the information down in the description below, because obviously, you know, we want to make it big, because I'm really proud of it. So hopefully we'll be doing streaming for that as well. But anyway, with the review. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and talk about my personal experience with some of these. It might be a fairly long review, because obviously there's a lot to talk about. And I'm just sitting down just to get ready for this. So we'll go straight into it, and I'll talk about some of the different ones that you might not expect and other ones, and just my personal experience, as I said. So without further ado, we'll start off with the lovely player choice sleeve. So a lot of people and a lot of quote-unquote pros might use the player choice sleeves. As you can see, we have loads of different colours here. I like the player choice sleeves. So we have the red, the grey, the white, which is always good, the blue, that's really nice, and the black and the purple. And these all look really nice. As opposed to the Ultra Pros, they don't actually have the symbol. The symbol is here for the Ultra Pros. For the player choice, you actually don't. If I just open up one of them for you to see how they actually look, it's just a plain sleeve. There's nothing on there, it's just straight. There's actually nothing. It actually feels really nice as well. I'll open this up just so you can see what they're like. So they're all glossy, these ones, and the card just fits in there. I should really I have a card here, and I'm Momella, right? So if we just pop it in, this is how the sleeve looks. It looks very nice. It displays the card off nicely. The back's very glossy and kind of smooth, and obviously the front as well. You can see the card very clearly. There's no watermarks on it. There's no any form of marketing brands on it. It's just that. And they're really nice. For playing with them, they're actually alright. They're very smooth when you first use them. When you sleeve them up, they don't suffer as much as the Glossy Ultra Pros, where they will, you know, slide around a lot, and I mean a lot, when you first use them, because they're just fresh out the pack. They're really nice. The quality on them is really excellent in my opinion. I really rate them a lot, and I think that they're probably one of the best on the market, in my personal opinion, and especially the colours as well. There's a nice range of colours, as I said. I think that's all of them, the 5 colours there, and they're mainly kind of American brands, these. We don't have them as much in the UK and Europe, and if we do, they're quite expensive to get a hold of, so apologies if there's a massive rumble, because there's lightning going on outside. So they're quite difficult to get for us, but I really do rate them. I think these are a really solid bit of kit, to be honest, because I always use them for tournaments, because they're so nice. They can last out. They don't get really grubby as much as some of the other ones, which I'll go to in a bit, but they're just really nice in my opinion. They are one of my picks for sure, so I'll get them just slightly out of the way. So we'll look at some of the different ones. One of the ones that I don't have are the Monster Sleeves. I'll talk about them very quickly. The Monster Sleeves are just kind of a glossy, kind of the same sleeve as the Ultra Pro. But the problem that I have with the Monster Sleeves is when you turn them over, when they're on their side, and when you've got your full deck and it's just on the side, like here for example, it's really obvious that they're just a bit weird, because you see on, for example, with the player choice or any of the others, the colour runs through. There's no whiteness on the side, if you know what I mean. With the Monster Sleeves, there's kind of like a mixture of white and the colour and everything like that, and it doesn't really look nice to me. With the actual usability of them, they're not bad, but I really don't like them. They stick a hell of a lot together, and it makes it really awkward to shuffle at times. And if you're thinking of a long tournament, they really do stick together, and they can gather dirt a fair bit. So the Monster Sleeves I don't really rate that much, but if you like them, that's fair enough. I know some people who do just like them because they're just nice, but I personally don't rate them. I don't think they're all that good, and I would have shown them, but my TO didn't have any of them. So, but it's not too much of a big issue. So if we go on to these two here, in fact we'll leave them to last because they're the ones that are always used normally. This is one of the new ones that have come out. These are kind of the superseding the player's choice. Well, not player's choice. These a little bit, which I'll get to in a sec. But these are really nice. These are kind of the new ones. They're kind of a take on player's choice as well. If I just open them up. I don't have too much experience with these ones, and these are, if I just say the Hyper Mattes, as you can see there. These are very nice. As I said, I don't have that much of a history with them because I've never really used them all that much, but they are nice. So if we compare the player choice to this one, they have the same kind of no watermark or anything like that. They have a nice gloss on it. So you can see your cards, and on the back, I don't know if you'll be able to see, you might be able to, yeah, you can see there. So they're slightly ridged, for your pleasure. Shh, I didn't make that joke. And you can just see that that's kind of how they are. They are nice, and they are nice to shuffle with this. It means there's a bit of extra grip on the back, and it has at the front, there's the actual smoothness that you need, that you want to see the card, but there is that grip on the back that's actually quite important. And the sides are just kind of your standard feel as well. It's not bumpy, it's just very smooth, and not too sharp that you're actually going to, you know, sometimes if it's too sharp, it can actually bend quite easily because it will catch on a lot of things. It's actually not too bad, these. So they're quite nice. What I feel with these is the back could possibly get grubby quite quickly because of the ridge, and it just means that your cards are going to get, well, the back of your sleeves are going to get marked a little bit because of the ridge. They're going to catch on things maybe, and it just means that if you are in a tournament, it could lead to some maybe accusations of being marked, different things like that. But it just basically depends. If you keep, you know, if you keep clean hands and everything like that, there shouldn't be a problem. So just to show you, they are the Kmc Sleeves as well. It's not really focusing. There you are, the Kmc Card Barrier Mini Series. So I actually really like these as well. From the minimum time that I had at locals today, playing with one of my mates' decks who had the purple in these. They were really nice to play with. Shuffling was top quality. It was just smooth and everything like that. I didn't see what they were like at the end of the tournament, so it would have been nice to see that as well. However, I really do rate these. I think from what I've seen, they are really nice, and they are kind of like the player choice quality as well. So it's kind of renowned that the player choice are considered the best quality. You might be able to argue against that. But the times where I've used player choice, they've certainly lasted longer than these two here, for example. But I'll get into them now. Excuse me. So we'll just quickly do these. These are quite old, if I'm completely honest. These are the Card Barrier Mini Series. These are the other Kmc Sleeves. So these supersede each other. So this one's the old one, this is the new one. With 6, oh, of course, I forgot to say. As you can see, this has 60 sleeves in it. Player choice also have 60, but this one only has 50. And that is a big breaker in my opinion. The reason I wouldn't get these is simply because they only have 50, and you would basically have to buy 2 if you want to build a deck. Because let's not forget, your sides and your main deck is going to be a minimum of 45 cards unless you don't have a side. So already you're 5 down because that's total of 55 sleeves that you'll need. So that is why these are not so great, but they're kind of the same matte and so kind of the same clear. They're not matte and everything like that. We'll do these last, just because it's nice to see. One thing that a lot of people have been seeing in my recent deck profiles are these over sleeves here. These sleeves that have the barrier on them. They're really nice. I do like it. You can just see there. So that's how it separately looks. These are really nice sleeves in my opinion, because I like to pride myself and kind of make sure my extra deck is nice and tidy and protected, because let's face it, extra deck a lot of time is one of those that is very expensive. So I want to make sure, hence the the black rose. I want to make sure that it's nice and protected and everything like that. So these are also the Kmc Sleeves. These are the ones here, and you get, I think it was 60 in as well. Or it might be a little bit more, but either way, these are really solid sleeves. These have if I just take it out again for you, they have a thicker consistency than most sleeves. So it's a bit of a, I don't know if you can hear, I'll just go up to my snowball. So it's kind of a bit thicker. If you remember the other sleeves, the kind of clear sleeves, oh, that was my camera. The clear sleeves that we do have, that are just standard. It's kind of the same feel as that, but they're snug. They fit much nicer if you put on over Yu-Gi-Oh card sleeves. So as you can see, it's just the World Championship sleeve here that I use kind of put all my main extra deck in, and it just fits nicely. At first there is a bit of a bubble, as you might be able to see, but if you just press down on it, it gets all the air out of it, and it's just then looks really, really nice. So this is one of my picks if you want an extra deck. Now I know there is a bit of controversy on if you double sleeve your extra deck is technically not allowed in big tournaments. So do take that into account when you do use them. You may have to drop them, but that is that basically. But we'll go nicely into the World Championship sleeves, or the World Qualifier sleeves. So everyone gets these, you know, if you enter one of the big tournaments, or if you top nationals or something like that, or regional, you'll get some form of this. And these are really nice for extra deck, in my opinion. But for main deck, these really, really get horrible quickly. The main problem that I have with these is the side of them. So you might be able to see there's just some slight color differences, or you can't really see that much because my camera's being slow, but there are slight differences because you can see all the whites on the actual side, and they get sticky really quickly. They're also very difficult to shuffle because it kind of it's quite a thick sleeve in essence, and when you actually shuffle down into it, I actually do have a deck here. This is one of my friend's decks that I ripped apart. You can actually see that these are all in them, and if we just take a selection, they're actually like they don't fall into place as much as you would like to, because they all catch on the edge, and if you can see here, there is some wear. So that's kind of one of the main things that I'm on about here. It's not really nice to play with these, in my opinion. They're nice to keep, and they're nice to put in your extra deck, which is like what I've done, as I said here, because when it's in this type of environment, in this type of sleeve, it's actually really nice, and you don't notice it as much. So it just means it keeps the quality of the sleeve up really nicely. So we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. These are the sleeves that you got in the deluxe editions, which were really nice. And I'm really ashamed. It's a real shame that they don't actually do them anymore, because I thought they were really, really nice. In fact, that's not it. But you get what I mean. I'll take them out now so you can see. These are really, really tight fitting sleeves. So these are smaller than all the rest. So if I just pop this Mermello in, you can see how actually tight that is now. You can barely tell that it's actually got something on, but it actually does. You can see there, this is how it is. These are really nice, but you wouldn't obviously use these in a main deck. This is just for maybe trading, or if you just want to put inside an actual sleeve, because for example, if we just take this one, it can actually go in it, just, and I mean just, there you go. So that's just a World Championship sleeve, which are just kind of the standard ones. And as you can see, it is just nicely snug in there. One of the bad things maybe is that you might get some top wear if you just have it there, because as you can see, it's barely big enough. So that's these ones. They're all right. As I said, it is a shame that they're actually not here, because they're not been doing them anymore, because I just really like them. And it is a shame that we don't get them anymore, because they were just a really nice little extra that you got. But these are the main two that a lot of people use. If I have missed out any, I do apologise. And if I have, you know, just in general missed ones that you use or really like, I do apologise, but there's only so many sleeves I can actually get, in all fairness. But I'll do a discussion on these, because these are kind of the ones that everyone uses. So these are the just the glossy I've got them for the Ultra Pro. So these are the Glossy Ultra Pro, and these are the Matte Ultra Pro. A lot of people use these different ones. So if we go into a discussion, there's always been a debate on which one is better. And to sum it up very quickly, these are nice. These are nice for kind of mid to late usage on the shelf life of them, and these are just better early on. So what do I mean by that? When you first sleeve your deck with these, maybe you're doing it at the start of a tournament, your deck will slide everywhere. That's just simply because there's less friction. Less friction, sorry, with these ones, because they are glossy and they actually don't have any matte on them. They just don't have any grip. And that's just simply, I've just ruined that, but that's fine. That's just simply how they are. So on the back, these do have some form of grip, like the hyper matte ones, but not as much. The hyper matte have more of a bump, more of a kind of just frictional surface as opposed to these. But it's not enough for them to slide. So if you obviously have all of your cards there, all the glossy is on the mat, and it still slides. They slide absolutely everywhere. And it's really irritating because you have to get a couple of matches use out of them for the actual grip to come onto them. And that is one of the really annoying things for me about these. Now, I really don't like the actual watermark, the stamp here. I don't like how they have them on there. It's what they've always done, which is fine, but I just don't like it anyway. If we go onto the mat, these are great for kind of a short tournament. You know, like if you just do a one-day thing, these are actually nice. But if you're constantly using the same sleeves, these get dirty so much. If I just take this Traptrix out, I don't know why this is here, it's just kind of what it is. But as you can see, there is obviously a matte to it as opposed to an actual gloss. And what I'm going to do with the same cards is I'll show you a comparison side by side. Now, I did say this would be a longer video, so I did warn you. It's a shame we don't have the white in matte anyway. But anyway, so as you can see here, so there's always going to be a less of a glare on the matte because that's simply how the surface is, as opposed to the actual glossy surface to the matte surface. You can see there. So if we just bring them up to the same angle for you, you can kind of see how it is. So obviously there's more of a shine here, but arguably you can see the artwork better. With the mattes, you kind of don't in a certain light, and it can actually glare quite horribly on the mattes in my opinion. And that's why I don't use mattes, because I like seeing the cards that I'm playing. If I'm playing the deck, I enjoy the deck and I want to see it. And it's also just easier as well if, for example, you're playing in sunlight or whatever, there's a glare, and your opponent's playing with the matte ones, you have to be like, what is that? You have to keep checking. And I'm not even joking with that. It might sound like such a first world problem, but it's actually a thing that happens, and I really don't like it. So the mattes are nice for the start of a tournament, in my opinion, or just a one-day tournament type thing. Maybe even 2-day if you want to get used to it. But these really, in my opinion, get grubby quickly. I've noticed so much that there'll just be gunk kind of all around the side. You know, if you're handing your deck to so many players and they're all shuffling, and these are people who do have good hygiene. This isn't people who are just grubby and all that stuff, you know. These are people who actually do have like good hygiene standards, so it's nothing to do with the actual player itself with all the dirt on the card. It's just they collect dirt so much, in my opinion, in my experience with these, that it kind of puts me off them, to be honest. I don't really use them at all. I did go through a phase when they first came out of being like, yeah, I love the mattes, and then I started playing with them, and I was like, it actually wears off. With the Glossy Ultra Pro, these can get grindy as well and grubby. That's just kind of cards in general. These are the sleeves in general. They do eventually get grubby, and when they do, it's normally kind of around the sides here and sometimes on the side. But as opposed to the production quality, they're nice. But one of the few things that I really do hate about these, and you can see it right here, is the factory marks. Now this will be a factory mark that goes all the way through the actual card, because it's where the stamp is. The stamp, if I just get rid of that Mermello, the stamp here, if we just turn it over, is there. So you can see it's a direct result of the stamp being stamped. And that ruins these for me, in my opinion, because the amount of times I've been in a tournament and someone said, oh, you've got a mark on your sleeve, and I'm like, no, it's the actual factory production stamp. And I'll have to check it, and then I'll have to go through my whole deck and check that everything is lined up exactly the same. And if these are slightly out, which they can be at times, I have sometimes found that even though they are the same here, even though one's slightly out, these really trip you up in times. And it's really irritating because they are nice sleeves and they are good to play with, but it does mean that you can be put in a bit of bother by some representatives or judges because, you know, they're just doing their job. And in all fairness, if some cards have marks on them and they don't line up to, you know, what you're saying or anything like that, you can be, you know, found out as cheating. That is one of those things that just happens. So that is kind of the review. If I were to rank them all, let's just pull them all in. Let's just pull this and this. So these are the Ultra Pros. If I rank them from 1 to 10, the mattes I will rate at about a 6 out of 10 because I feel that they are good sleeves in general, and the fact that they don't slide at the start of a tournament when you use them, they just all sit together nicely because of the actual grip on the mat. They do well, but as regards to longevity, I don't like them. With the Glossy ones, I rate them as kind of a 7 out of 10. Simply because they are good, but for the fact that they, you know, slide at the start and you have to wear them in a little bit, they're not as great as they possibly could be. The World Championship sleeves are 5 out of 10, unfortunately, just because all the ones that I've had have just disintegrated, fallen apart after certain usages. And it's just that. Maybe it's how I'm shuffling or whatever, but as a extra deck card, as you know, a sleeve for the extra deck, they are amazing. I really rate them as that, and that's what I use them for, because that's what I think they lie. That's where the strength is, an extra deck sleeve, because it's just so good. They look amazing and everything like that. The Kmc Ultra Sleeves, the 50, they are kind of a 5 out of 10 again, because of the lack of 10 sleeves is a real game changer. Simply because it's just so irritating not to have extra sleeves. You run out of sleeves. It's nice to have 60, because if you do have 60, you have 5 sleeves to swap in and out of if one gets grubby, dirty, or anything like that. Assuming you're playing a 40 card deck and a 15 card extra deck, it's 55, you have 60, so you have 5 to kind of play around with. So that's why I rate that as a 5. Hypermatte, from what I've seen, these are solid. These are a nice 9 out of 10 in my opinion. Maybe an 8.5, you know, if you want to get technical. Just because the way that you can play with them straight out of the pack, the usage of them, they seem like they've got real good build quality and everything like that. I really rate these. And then finally, the player choice. These are personally my pick. These two are my picks. Now, I know that they are probably the most expensive ones. Player choice kind of hit around £4 or £5 per pack. And these, I think, are about the same, maybe about 50p cheaper or something like that. But obviously, this is for UK. I think America gets these cheaper because we have to import them. But these two are the solid ones that I would always use from now on, to be honest. Hence why I've got a ridiculous amount of colours up here, because these are my tournament sleeves now. And they're just the best ones in my opinion, simply because of the build quality. The pros that these have is they are gloss, of course, so you can see the cards. They don't have any marks on them or stamps, so therefore there's no factory marks to actually kind of trip you up a little bit. Any marks will be from the player or from the usage, so that's an important one to remember about that, unless there has been maybe something pressing down on it and it's actually just dented through. And the actual just quality of them overall, with the fact that how they deal with any acid or any hand acid, anything like that, they don't fade at anything. I really rate them, and the same with these. From the time that I've used them, in the short time I will admit that I've used them, so if you know otherwise, please let me know down in the comment section below, because it'd be quite interesting to know. But these are really solid sleeves in my opinion as well. So out of all the ones I have available, and also rating the monster sleeves that are the white front with the white back, and then on the other side they have the actual colour on the back, and also they might have the monster symbol kind of on the back. It's normally about that big. I rate them a, say, if I'm honest, 4 out of 10, because I really don't like them. I had 2 sets of them, one with the symbol on the back and one without the symbol, and I just didn't like them all. They were the gloss sleeve instead of the matte. I can't remember if they do a matte or not, but they just really weren't nice. And if we just look at these two here, I wouldn't really rate these because they're all down to personal preference. These are just good for kind of trading and such. They weren't 150, I don't know why that's there. And this is just for your extra deck, and you know, it's nice. As I said, a lot of people are asking me about this, and there it is again. That's how it looks. It's really nice. It finishes off the card in general just nice. It doesn't block anything important. The only thing it does block down here is on the new cards, it does block the first edition, but you know, that's not really too much. It doesn't block anything important. It's just a simple border that just looks nice. And with these, the way I do it is, if people really wanted to know, the way that I like it is that obviously we put the sleeve in this way. The slit is at the top. I turn it round and put it in upside down, so therefore it creates kind of like a little vacuum, and it just means that there won't be any edge wear. For example, if it's still, if you put the sleeve up here and the openings up here, you have 2 openings, it can get caught and it can just get maybe a little edge wear, and especially for cards like, for example, Ghost First Black Rose, you don't want any edge wear on them. You want them to be mint as possible and everything like that. So that is it, guys. Sorry, this is 24 minutes as I'm speaking, and I realised that it obviously was a longer video, but people really wanted me to go in depth on my personal opinions on the sleeves, And as I said, it's nice. There are a lot of nice sleeves, but these two, the Player Choice and the Hypermatte Minis, are definitely my choice. You might have differing opinions, and if you do let me know down in the comment section below, because it'd be quite interesting to see what everyone's opinions are and what people use. There are obviously a lot more sleeves out there, but these are the main ones that I consider actual runners and the main used ones. So as I said, let me know down in the comment section below. I hope you did enjoy it, because as I said, my TO at the Brotherhood, Michael, kind of sponsored me with a lot of these. I bought the Player Choice, but he sponsored me with a lot of these because, you know, it's interesting for you guys to see. A lot of you were asking for it, and he was very happy to oblige to be able to allow me to do this video for you. So as I said, let me know down in the comment section below which sleeves you use and which ones you actually don't like. So maybe get a little bit of discussion going, which is your favorite and which is your least favorite. And I shall catch you guys later. I hope you did enjoy it.